Have you ever felt like your life was just gray? Like you were meant for something more, something dazzling and passionate, but you're stuck in a black and white movie? If so, you're going to understand Emma Bovary on a deeply personal level. Today, we're diving into Gustave Flaubert's masterpiece, Madame Bovary, a story so scandalous for its time it put its author on trial. But it's more than just a scandal. It's a timeless exploration of human desire, the danger of confusing fantasy with reality, and the tragic cost of chasing an illusion. So, let's meet Emma. Growing up in a convent, her head is filled with romantic novels. She imagines a world of moonlit waltzes, dashing heroes, and whirlwind passions. She's convinced that love and marriage will be the key that unlocks this magical life. Then along comes Charles Bovary. He's a country doctor, a good man, a stable man, but undeniably dull. He adores Emma, but he can't offer her the poetic, soul-shattering love she's read about in books. For Charles, happiness is a quiet evening at home with his wife. For Emma, that quiet evening is a prison. The wedding happens, they move to a small provincial town, and the reality of her new life crashes down on Emma like a ton of bricks. The days are repetitive, the conversations are mundane, and the excitement she craved is nowhere to be found. Charles's simple affection feels suffocating. He's content, and his contentment makes her misery even sharper. She looks around and sees a life devoid of color, a world of beige when she was promised a kaleidoscope. This gap between her romantic dreams and her lackluster reality becomes a breeding ground for deep, corrosive dissatisfaction. She starts to feel a profound sense of boredom, a malady of the soul that poisons everything. Her first taste of the life she truly wants comes at a lavish ball hosted by a marquis. It's everything she's ever dreamed of: glittering chandeliers, silk gowns, champagne, and flirtatious whispers. For one night, she is living inside her fantasy. The men are charming, the atmosphere is electric, and she feels alive for the first time. But like all magical nights, it ends. When she returns to her quiet home with Charles, the contrast is unbearable. The memory of that ball becomes an obsession, a golden standard against which her own life will always fall miserably short. It solidifies her belief that a better, more exciting world exists just outside her grasp, and she begins to despise her own reality with a burning intensity. Desperate for an escape, Emma convinces Charles to move to a larger town, Yonville, hoping a change of scenery will change her life. But it's just the same old story in a new setting. The people are still provincial, the life is still dull. It's here that she meets Leon, a young law clerk. He's just like her, bored with small-town life and full of romantic, artistic ideals. They talk for hours about books, music, and the grand passions they long for. For the first time, Emma feels seen and understood. An intense emotional connection forms, a love born of shared daydreams. But they are both too timid, too bound by convention to act on their feelings. Eventually, Leon, frustrated by his own stagnant life, leaves for Paris. Emma is devastated, left alone once again with her fantasies and her boring husband. But the fire of desire once lit is hard to extinguish. Soon after Leon's departure, a wealthy, charismatic landowner named Rodolphe Ballinger enters the scene. He's a seasoned player who sees Emma's vulnerability and romantic nature as a challenge. He's not a dreamer like Leon. He's a predator. He showers her with the passionate words and bold gestures she's been craving. He tells her everything she's ever wanted to hear. Emma, blinded by her desperate need for romance, falls head over heels. She believes this is it, the grand, all-consuming love from her novels. They begin a passionate, secret affair. This affair becomes the center of Emma's universe. She takes reckless risks to meet Rodolphe, lying to Charles and sinking deeper into a world of deceit. She also begins to indulge her taste for luxury, buying expensive clothes, furniture, and gifts on credit from a manipulative merchant named Leroux. He happily extends her credit, knowing she's a moth drawn to a flame. For a while, she is blissfully happy, living the dramatic life she always wanted. She even convinces herself and Rodolphe to run away together, to finally escape her dreary life with Charles. She plans everything, packs her bags and waits with feverish anticipation. And then, the ultimate heartbreak. On the morning they are supposed to leave, Emma receives a cold, cruel letter from Rodolphe. He breaks up with her, claiming it's for her own good but really because he's bored and unwilling to be tied down. He was never in love with her. She was just a conquest. The illusion shatters. The shock and devastation are so profound that Emma falls into a severe, life-threatening illness. Charles, ever clueless but devoted, nurses her back to health, completely unaware of the real cause of her suffering. He just sees his beloved wife wasting away and does everything in his power to save her. As she slowly recovers, Emma tries to find solace in religion, but her piety is as dramatic and superficial as her romantic passions. It's just another role to play. Then, a ghost from the past reappears. Leon. He's back from Paris, more confident now. They reconnect, and the old spark ignites into a new affair. But this love is different. It's less about innocent dreams, and more about a jaded, desperate attempt to feel something. They conduct their affair through a web of elaborate lies, with Emma taking weekly trips to the nearby city of Rouen, under the pretense of piano lessons. During this time, her spending spirals completely out of control. Her secret life requires expensive hotel rooms, fancy meals, and gifts. The merchant Leroux has her trapped in a mountain of debt. He holds the promissory notes she signed, and now he's calling them in. The bills pile up, the threats become more urgent, and the walls begin to close in. The luxurious fantasy she built for herself is revealed to be a house of cards, financed by lies and debt, and a strong wind is blowing. Panic sets in. The court orders her property to be seized. Desperate, Emma turns to everyone she can think of for help. She begs Leon for money, but he's powerless. She goes to Rodolphe, her great love, and humbles herself, pleading for him to save her. He coldly refuses. In that moment, she sees everything with horrifying clarity. Her great passions were hollow, her lovers were selfish, and her dreams have led her to absolute ruin. The men who whispered promises of eternal love abandon her the second she becomes a liability. She is utterly and completely alone, facing public shame and financial ruin. With no escape left, Emma makes her final tragic choice. She walks into the town pharmacy, and in a moment of ultimate despair, she swallows a handful of arsenic. Her death is not the peaceful, romanticized exit from her novels. It is slow, agonizing, and grotesque. Flaubert describes it in unflinching clinical detail, stripping away any last shred of romantic illusion. Charles is destroyed by her death. Only after she's gone does he discover her letters, her debts, and the full extent of her secret life. The truth breaks him. He loses everything and dies a lonely, heartbroken man, still clutching a lock of her hair. So, what does this all mean? Madame Bovary is a powerful warning about the dangers of chasing illusions. Emma isn't a monster. She's a deeply human character whose desires are relatable, who hasn't dreamed of a more exciting life. But her tragedy is that she could never find happiness in reality. She was addicted to the fantasy, and that addiction destroyed her and everyone who loved her. The novel critiques a society that offers women so few options for fulfillment, while also showing the personal responsibility we have to ground our dreams in the real world. It's a heartbreaking story, but one that remains incredibly relevant. It forces us to ask ourselves, where do our dreams come from, and what is the true cost of our desires? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of literature's greatest tragedies. If you enjoyed this analysis, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into classic literature. Let me know in the comments what you think of Emma Bovary. Is she a victim, a villain, or something in between? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep reading.